Hi there, welcome to Elm Colors. I'm Erica. On today's video, we are going to be continuing in our How I Color alphabet series. Today is letter W. W is for wood. So I've got several examples that I want to talk about and kind of show you different ways that I would approach different items made from wood. So first, you have furniture. So you can see I basically just copied whatever the artist did on this side, but you can kind of see, I'm going to hold it up close so you can see some of the texture. Wood is all about texture. So you can see the lines going across, you can see some of the lines going down. It's very textured. Here's another piece where you can see the artist's version, and then that'll be really cool to be able to try to recreate on this side. The nice thing about April's books is that she has a lot of the texture lines already drawn in, and that is the case in several of the artists that you'll see today. I know Kirby Rosanis is really good about adding the texture. So like on this one here, so you've got like the butcher block wood top. So here's the same thing. So you've got all of your texture lines drawn in there already. So I love all the wood in this book, and I love the fact that I can use the artist's version and then try to replicate it or recreate it, or just use the texture part, like this one where it's on the ceiling. I love that. That's going to be so fun to do. And then all the different shades of wood that you have as well. So these books are awesome because not only do you have wood in all kinds of different places other than just like trees, you have an example to use. Airy is another great one. So there's lots and lots of wood in these books, and of course the one that I have is one that I've already kind of finished here, but there's wood on, so for example on this tub, on the siding and the shelving on the house here. You got it on this giant cart. And you can see she's just got like a couple little squiggly lines to kind of indicate that it's wood. You don't have to color it browns. You can color it any color you want, but it is a wood, so you do want to make it textured. That's kind of the whole point of that. Now, that being said, I completely disregarded that when I was making this furniture, when I was coloring this big piece of furniture back here. I did pay attention to a couple of the lines, but I didn't really add a whole lot of texture back in. And that was because I kind of wanted this to not be like a super focal point. So I just made it, I did leave some highlights here and there, but I didn't add a lot of texture. Now on the floor, and I'm going to hold this up again so you can see, I did add a lot of texture. And I kind of drew in that pattern myself, and it's pretty easy. And we're going to do one of those today. I'm going to show you kind of how I would add in my own wood grain pattern, probably in a similar color palette. We'll see. But yeah, so there is a couple more examples. Let's see what else I pulled. I don't know if this is one that I was thinking about doing. Yeah, so here's one where you could, make the chair wood, you can make the table wood, you can make this little shelter all made of wood, or however you wanted to do it. But there's lots of places where you could kind of add your own wood touches. These nice little town books are also really great places to practice wood. So see, you've got here, this whole thing is all wood, plus the tree in the background. And again, she has all of the texture lines in there, so you can kind of see, this area is really like more of a rough bark. But if you wanted to do wood planks back here and a wooden floor, you can go in and add your own wood grain. So for this one, she did have several of the lines added in, and I darkened them up quite a bit so that it was a very dramatic wood. And then not quite as much back on this little piece of the house back there. And then I've got a couple started in here that we might do one of those. So this was just with a base of alcohol markers, and then I'll kind of show you how I would go over top of that with colored pencils. And it makes this process go so much faster when you can have that base color. This one's really dark, so I'm curious to see how that tree is going to turn out. But so there is that. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, I know what this one is. This one is Wood Skin. So these books by Forest Diver have some really interesting characters in them. And one of the, like this lady here, I'm going to hold it up close again so you can kind of see how her skin is made of wood. And so she had already enough texture lines in there that I just kind of did the highlights and the shading. I didn't really pay it super close attention to the wood, but it was a neat look. And that's always an option too. And you could always make your own, anybody's skin can be wood. In Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, I think, yeah. So I did the wood grain in the floor here. And that took quite a while. But I wanted to make sure that I had like different shades of wood kind of all mixed together, because I decided that this is going to be a very masculine room since this is the grandpa's room. And that has kind of come back to kick me in the butt a little bit, because now I have all of these other pieces that I want to be wood, but I don't know which ones to make light, which ones to make dark. So I've kind of stalled on this page. But, I've got another wooden shelf here. I've got one on the wall. This whole thing will be wood. This whole thing will be wood. And then, of course, this shelf, this bookshelf that's back behind here, and this piece as well. So lots of wood coming up on these pages, and I just have to figure out how I want to color them. But, yeah, this book is full of lots of wood that you can add in as well. So here's a table. You could make that table into wood planks if you wanted. There's several trees. Again, lots of shelving and things like that inside of the tree house. Here's one where I did, so on the tree itself, I really went to town and added in a lot of texture. So again, I'm going to hold this up close so you can kind of see all of the lines in there. And that just really, when you draw away from that, that really adds a lot of fun and interest to the image. I also did add some wood grain texture on the boat over here as well. Let's see, what else do we have? I think that's it in this book that I wanted to show you. Then in Flora, I did do, of course you have so this one right now I have started, so you can see a little bit of shading going on over on this side, but this is all water-based marker. And then I've been going over top with pencils to shade in. So you can kind of see a little bit of shading on this side. But I'm not going to do too much more texture lines because there's quite a bit in here. Maria Trolle does a really good job on her branches and things, trying to, showing you what she thinks should be like really textured and what she thinks should be not as textured. And again, you can always go in and add your own, but like both the trees on this side and then the little house and the door here, those are all supposed to be made of wood. Again, they don't have to be brown, which is sometimes a struggle for me, but that's something to keep in mind. You do not have to have brown. Oh, there's another one. And this is, again, just following her texture lines that she's put in here. I didn't add anything else. I just did quite a bit of shading along her texture lines. Yeah, okay. And then I think these last two, so let's see. I've got, where is that page? In here. This one here, which has all kinds of wood grain. So I did, on the ceiling, I added in some textures so that you can see that it is a light wood ceiling, like a plank ceiling. And then on the floor as well, I added in textures so that you could, I think she had a few lines maybe drawn in there, and then I added quite a few more to give it a really textured look. And then on the trees, I didn't do it as much, but you can still tell that it's wood. And then the door itself here is wood as well, but again, since I didn't want it to be all wood, I made that one bright blue or bright turquoise, and this wooden box over here is bright blue, but you can tell they are still both made of wood. So that's kind of interesting. And then what do I have in here? I have this door here that I did, and the fence post. The fence post, you can see that I added texture on that. What's back here? No? What was I going to show you in here? Oh, the door. So yeah, there's another example where I did a base layer of water-based marker, and then went through with my pencils and just kind of went to town with streaks and then blended it together as I went, and just really enjoy the look that that gives me. Oh, here's another one where I did the whole background with a light wash of Inktense and then used a different pencil to come in and draw in the wood grain. It's very light, but it gives a good, nice texture. Let's see. I don't know how much else wood. Okay, so here's the other thing. So wood furniture, a lot of the times, you can add a lot of texture, but you don't have to. So on this one, I think we might work on this a little bit today. So far, this has just got one base layer of Inktense pencils. And then I think what we'll do is I'll either, I might go back over with like Prismas or something, or my Polychromos probably, because that's easier. You want to use a finer or a harder pencil for the wood grain, typically, because it will stay sharp. It's kind of like hair in that aspect, you know, hair or fur. You want a sharp tip so that you can continue to make those texture lines in there. What else did I do with wood? There's not a whole lot else. There's a couple on this door here. I have a little bit, but yeah, so, I mean, you kind of get the idea. Lots of different things that you can do with wood, and I'm going to show you a few things. I probably will work on this page, maybe another one, and then we'll do like a background. Oh, I forgot to show you that background, didn't I? I think I did. Yeah, so here's one where I created my own wood background. And this one got a lot of likes on Instagram and a lot of comments about how did you do that? It looks real, all this different things, but this one was really an experiment, so I hope that I can recreate something similar to this. But yeah, it's just about being imperfect with your wood grain. So, okay, so let me figure out what pages I want to work on today, and then I will be right back with you and we'll get started. Okay, so for the first wood grain, well, the wood stuff, I'm going to do something just a little bit different. We're going to play around in Kirby Rosanis' book. This is Worlds Within Worlds, and I thought that I would work on this moon page. So I kind of like, oh, you guys can't see that. Let me move all this stuff out of the way. Let me get this over here. There we go. I like these trees, and I don't necessarily want them to just be brown. I feel like this page will be really cool if it's got some different fun colors, kind of like on the front, how he's got, you know, different colors all over on that. I just thought it would be neat to do. So I've got a couple distress inks. So I have Victorian Velvet, Speckled Egg, and the tea dye. I have a round blender brush, and some of these finger daubers, which I think that those are probably what I'm going to try to use first. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to zoom you in just a little bit, okay, hoping that that is okay for you guys. I think I'm going to start with the Victorian Velvet. And I'm just going to get a little bit of ink And I'm just going to start placing it wherever I feel like placing it. I think maybe I'll do pink on one side of the trees and a little bit of blue maybe on the other side, and then have brown kind of intermingled throughout. We'll see how this looks. So this could be, you know, I could have done this for trees as well, but I just wanted you to kind of see that you don't have to do brown for wood, because we will be doing some other browns and stuff in the rest of the video, and I don't know, I wanted to try something fun. Okay, so got some pinks in here. Oh, I forgot I had this little doodad. I got these little silicone coasters, and they are really handy for holding your ink pad in place so that you don't have to hold it every time you want to get more ink. So I still have quite a bit of ink on my little dauber. All right, let's see how the blue does. Let's try the blue next. So this is the Speckled Egg. I'm going to pick up some ink and just kind of, again, I'm just dabbing it here and there. I'm going to try to stay as best I can on the left side, or the right side of the trees for me. I might, this is one of the ones where I think I'm going to do that thinking outside the box kind of thing. So my trees are going to be different colors, and my branches are going to be different colors. Ooh. My sky is going to be fun colors, and it's going to be dark, so I'm not worried if I get out of the lines. That's why I went with the Distress ink on this, so I can, it's going to get covered up anyway, so. But you can always try to use like the edge, like Zucchini does, Zucchini Kitty does. She gets ink right on the edge of her dauber. Let me try it with this. Let's see. So we'll get some ink right on the edge. And see if I can get it. Nope. I'm sure if I practiced with this technique a little bit more, I would be able to do it, but it's not going quite the way that I was hoping it would go for the first go around here. But we're just playing, so okay. So there's some pinks and some green, or no, pinks and blues. Now we're gonna try some of this tea dye. I'm just going to mix that around in there with these colors as well. Trying not to go over them too much. That's the nice thing about these Kirby books, is that you can, you know, just barely add in some color and it just kind of does its thing, because there's already those texture lines in there. So you don't really have to worry too much about everything or anything. Probably going to go back in and add some more pink in. Yeah, all right. So I did end up using some brown, but let me get some more pink in there. Let's do that right there. There we go. So I want some pink on this side. And again, these will dry lighter. You know, they go on heavier at first, but once they dry, it's going to be lighter. And I can always go back with my pencils and add different colors in if I don't really like the ones that I have on there. Okay. And then back with the brown or the blue. Oh, I need a little bit of pink up here, don't I? Oops, that was over too far. All right, so this is one of those let's see if we can fix this kind of pages. I just can't tell where the edge of the sponge is going, and that's causing me to make a big old mess. I'm just getting it all over other parts of my page. And not in the tree where I want it. Let's see, we want some blue up here. All right. Down here, it's kind of wonky. I'm just going to use the leftover colors on my pad down there. Let's see if I can do a little bit more brown down there. All right. Okay. Yeah, I like that. And then for these smaller trees, I'll probably go in with pencils and do those. I might go ahead and maybe I'll add in like the green. Oh wait, no, I just said I was going to do everything different, didn't I? So what color should the leaves be? That's probably a video for another day. Well, maybe I'll go off. You know what? I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to go off camera and at least finish the trees so that you can see what they look like. And then I will be right back with you. Okay, so I have my, sorry, I hit the camera. I have my first layer of my background down, so don't judge me on that, but it's just the first layer. I did go through with some more distress inks on the leaves. And then this is what you had originally seen. I've already done these other branches, and I just wanted to show you really quick what I was doing with those. So I am using Clay Rose. I think this is Slate Gray and the Chestnut. And I'm just going to add in wherever there are kind of shadow, like texture lines. I'm just going to messily add in a little bit of this darker color. So I'm going to start with the Clay Rose on that side. I'm going to do the Slate Gray on this side. And you can see that I'm not doing it straight down all the way. It's kind of hit and miss. Do want a little bit down in that area. And then I'm going to take the Chestnut, and that's going to be in the darkest area. So definitely like underneath the leaves and stuff. And then a few places here and there on the tree. And that is just about it. Like, I'm not going into super detail on these trees, and they look pretty darn cool if you ask me. And then like any branches that stick out, I'm doing a mix of of the colors kind of however I feel like it should be. Let's do one there. Yeah, but yeah, so that's basically it. So that's kind of what those trees are going to look like. And I think once I get this background done, and then I just, for the little trees down at the base, I'm just going through with my chestnut and just darkening up. Now this one I might add a little bit of texture because it is a little bit bigger. So I'll do a couple lines with that, a couple lines with this, and then add in that blue. Try to blend that together a little bit with the clay rose. And yeah, so those are my multicolored wood trees. I think they look pretty cool. And once, like I said, once I get the background done and the moon done and all this underbrush done, I think it's gonna be very interesting. A little bit different than what I would normally do, and again, thinking outside the box. So yay for that. Okay, so let's move on to the next page. Okay, next I'm going to work on the Nice Little Town Valentine's Day. And this is, again, going to be a tree, but maybe we'll work on this gate as well here. Yeah, I'll probably do that too. So I've got an alcohol marker base already on here that I probably used in Ohuhu. I have no idea what number it would be, but it's you can see it's a pretty dark brown. So you could also come through with a water-based marker or you know, water-based marker or alcohol marker will work. And now I'm going to go through my pencils. These are my Shuttle Art pencils. This is the 180 set, I believe. 180, maybe? 160? I can't remember. But I will show you what they look like here. So this is, they look like these. These are a nice hard pencil. I did an entire background with these in my Johanna Basford book, and I'm wondering if it's going to work the same on this paper. It may not. I might have to go get like polychromos or something like that. Where is this color? Why isn't it written down somewhere? Huh. Okay. Well, that's odd. All right, so I'm just going to grab a few out of here that are darker colors. I don't want anything like too... boy, these are all messed up. Give me just a second. All right, I have my colors, and I have just an array of browns. I have some warmer, some cooler, all really pretty dark. But I'm gonna try a couple different ones and see what I think. So this one, we're just gonna start with this one and see what happens. So basically, I'm just going to follow the lines that Tatiana has already drawn in here for us. Yeah, this one will work just fine. And then you just kind of, that's it, just follow the lines. If you want to add more in, you can. I probably won't do that because I don't feel like it needs it. And then anywhere where things would overlap, you can add in your shadows with this color as well. Okay, and then I do have a little bit warmer color as well. I think this is the right one. This is, yeah, this is a little bit warmer brown. And I can blend that out a little bit. So we're just going to work with these two colors for now. So this one, I'm going to make sure that I get all of the shadows in and then try to blend that out best I can with this other color. So yeah, so this is basically my game plan through this page. I'm just going to follow the lines, and I will speed that up so you guys can see that, and then maybe we'll work on this gate without having the base, and I'll kind of show you how I would do that. So I will talk to you again here in a second. Okay, so now what I can do is I can take this light, because I have this alcohol marker base, I can take my lighter color, so this is pale yellow, and anywhere where I want to add in a little bit of highlight, I can do that. It's really fun to do this way. It's nice because you can, it's kind of like coloring on like gray or tan tone paper, because you can add in your highlights back in. So like for around these lights and stuff, I'll probably do that later on, but I'll go in with like either another pencil and I'll go around the outsides of them, or I might come in probably with a paint pen and add in the highlights back in. So now I'm just kind of randomly adding those back in. Kind of this area here is going to have some highlights because it kind of, from the way that I see it, it kind of bows out because this is set back into the tree. I think, anyway. That's how I see it. Okay. I think that that is it for the tree. I'm going to get a little bit in here. Let me take a look at that and see how it looks. I see another spot here that I would like to add some highlights in. Yeah, I think that's good. Hopefully that glare is not too bad for you guys and you can kind of see, like I think you can see the reflection of the lights, but maybe it also looks good for you. I like the way that that looks. So yeah, so that tree is done. Okay, so now we're gonna work on this gate, and I decided I want it to be kind of bluey purple. So I am going to show you basically what my game plan is. So first, I'm just going to lightly put a layer of this light periwinkle color. And this, I'm just doing like little flicks kind of, but not like, I'm not pushing hard. They're very light flicks. Okay, and I want to do that the same over here. So I want all of this wood to be the same kind of texture. And then on the inside, I'm going to go sideways because that's the way the grain would go for the wood going that way. Okay, so then I'm going to take my next darkest color, which is this light purple, and I'm just going to start placing random lines in here. And again, you want this to be a sharp pencil. So you want to make sure you're turning your pencil so you get nice lines. And again, just a couple random ones in the background on this part. Okay, then let's do, we're gonna do this color. So this is the next darkest. So again, I'm just doing some flicks of color here and there. And you want to, anywhere where she's drawn in like a texture line, you can make sure that you get color like right on that line. And then you also, when you have like painted wood like this, and you want, there's typically going to be a highlight somewhere in the center. So I like to make the edges of the wood a little bit darker. So we're going to do the same back here. I'm just going to get a little bit of shadow going back there. There we go. And you don't want to, it's just a lot of random lines here and there. Okay. Then I have like a purplish blue color. I'm going to focus that in areas where there's like shadows. But again, I'm not coloring, I'm just kind of flicking that pencil. Okay, and we're going to concentrate. Anywhere where there is like the dip in the wood right here, that's going to have a little bit of color added to it right around there. I like to do some coming around from where the nails are in the fence, or where like the gates nailed together. And you want some of the lines to be shorter, some of the lines to be thicker or smaller. No, shorter and taller, longer. Goodness. I knew what I was trying to say, but it was not coming out quite right there. And this is just about playing with the texture until you feel like you have the texture that you like. I'm going to add one more color in here. We've got this cobalt blue, so this is kind of more of a blue color, so it's going to bring it back towards that blue. And this is the same technique that I would use if I was using brown colors, if I was using, you know, reds, oranges, yellows, whatever color you want that wood to be. This is kind of the same way that I would do it. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to my lighter colors. So I have this light purple, and again, I'm just flicking that color down. I am picking my pencil up every time I move it to a different spot. I'm not leaving the pencil on the paper. I'm picking it up and drawing, you know, several different lines at a time. And then the last one would be back towards this light blue again. And then in the background, I am just going to go ahead and color that, but I'm going to do it lightly. And then I think I'll probably bring in that purple again. So this is light wisteria. And again, just draw in, just doing a couple more of those texture lines, just because I wanted a little bit more of the darker purple, but I didn't want it to be that darkest purple. But there you go. That is how I would do that. And then I would probably do the little nails. We'll just do them black. Probably do the gate. We'll do that, a mix of grays or something at some point. But for now, there is my little purple bluish wooden gate. So, and I think that'll look nice with the stones and stuff that are coming across here. And then I still don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of this, but there you go. So there is using these harder pencils over top of the alcohol markers, and then pencils kind of combined to make your wood grain. Okay, so we are working in Romantic Country, the first tale, and I am going to work on this page here. So we're going to do, first I'm going to put in a floor. I need my backer page. Let me grab that really quick. Okay, so first we're going to put in a floor. And to do that, I use a ruler and just a pencil. And sometimes I'll just use like a regular pencil, but I think for this one, I'm just going to go ahead with my darkest color and draw in the lines. So sometimes I measure it out, sometimes I eyeball it. Today I'm just going to eyeball it. But you can go through and like measure out the planks how you want them, all of that stuff. I'm going to have wide plank floors, so there's only going to be 2 planks. Well, maybe 3. Let's do 3. Because if I do 2, then it would be like right there, and that would look kind of just a little odd. So we're going to put one kind of back into this area. Right there, and then I'll do another one. Yeah, right about there. Okay. All right, so now what my next step would be is basically I'm going to shade outwards from those center sections. And this is the same technique that I would use if I was putting wood grain in a big, on a big background. So I have gone ahead and I need to move some stuff. Hang on just a second. I have drawn those in. I'm going to use the same dark color. So right now I'm using 70% warm gray. And I'm just going to lightly shade outward from that center line. On both sides. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and I will talk to you guys again here in a second. My next step is going to be to draw in some texture lines. I need to make sure my pencils are nice and sharp. Okay, and I have a mix of colors here. So I have a 50% warm gray, I have putty beige, I have 30% cool gray, and 20% warm gray. So I'm going to start with the 20, and I'm just basically just drawing random lines like that. I'm hoping you can see that. I'll hold it up so you can see because it's really light at first. So there, you can kind of see those lines in there. And that's basically what I'm going to do for this whole thing. So you want lines to be kind of squiggly. You can have like fun like swirl patterns, and then the lines can kind of wrap around that swirl pattern, but you don't have to have that all, you know, at every on every one if you don't want to. And some of the lines are short, some of them are longer, all of them are, none of them are straight. That's the main takeaway, is none of these lines are going to be straight. I am going to do, I think I need a little bit of a swirly pattern here. So we're going to kind of wrap that around there. Okay, and I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to go ahead and do this board as well. Okay, so my next step is going to be to do kind of the similar thing with this one. I'm just going to pick a few of those lines and darken those up with my little bit darker gray here. And I'm not touching all of them, just a few. And it can be messy, which is nice because if I don't have to, you know, worry about it too much. And sometimes a nice thing to do, so if you kind of, so I'm going to pick this line here, if you do like almost a little jagged kind of coloring style, it creates a little bit of a real texture there too, because the lines aren't perfectly straight in this wood. So they have like this little jagged texture. So you can pick a few of those and do a little bit of a jagged thing with them. And that kind of helps create a little bit of a realistic look too. Now, again, my coloring style is not realistic. I do not do, you know, realism at all. This is just, you know, I don't know, little steps that you can take to give just a little bit extra to your pages. Okay. All right, I like that. And then, I don't know, I might use this 30. So this 30% cool gray, I'm going to use in a couple places. I am going to do like a little, almost like little dot patterns. So I'm going to do these little, it just is like a little texture, an added texture, just a little bit different than what you would normally get. And it, I don't know, I did it on one of them and I really liked the way that it looked. But you want to make those little lines go the same way that your wood grain is going as well. So it's just tiny little lines. And I'll lift that up so you can see that as well. I know this is all kind of light, but like for example, there's some right here, a little bit there, a little bit there. So, okay, next step. I am going to take my 10%, no, I lied. I'm going to take my 50% warm gray again, and I'm going to color outwards a little bit from this edge again. So I had done the 70 before, and now I'm using my 50, and I'm using it very lightly, like super light. And I just want to color outwards from that kind of into the boards a little bit more. I'm going to have to darken that line up because I didn't make it quite dark enough. So hopefully I can line this back up and not not mess it up too bad. We shall see. Okay. Oh, that seems to be off. There we go. And so I'm turning my pencil every couple of strokes here. There we go. Got a nice sharp line there. That's what I wanted. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so now I'm going to go back with my 50, and I'm just kind of sheeting outward from that. Okay, use my 70 again to darken this line up. And then along where the baseboard is, and then underneath this piece of furniture, and make sure to darken those areas up. And then underneath these fruits and veggies. And flour sacks, whatever is over here. My desk is not deep enough for me to color that like that. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to come in with my, let's see, what is this one? 20% warm gray, and shade out from that, just so I'm blending that out a little bit. So it's not quite as harsh. Okay. One more step before we do this last little bit. I'm going to darken up. I'm going to make a few extra lines coming from the edges of these boards, kind of like how I did on the gate where I did like the top and the bottom. But I want a little bit more texture at the edges of these boards. So in that edge and then on this edge as well. Okay, and then I'm going to shade out with my 20%. Sorry about that, being off camera a little bit there. Just a little bit like that. And then let's shade out with that 20, blend it out. Okay, now I'm going to, this is going to be kind of a funky thing to do. I think I'm going to add in some greens and some blues into the floor. And I just think that's going to add just a little bit extra so it's not so gray. And then probably a little bit of this putty beige too, because that's a little bit warmer tone. Probably not going to use that blue powder. Yeah, so I'm just going to very lightly with the periwinkle. I'm using periwinkle. I'm just going to pick a couple of spots and add in a little bit of blue. And I'm going right over the top of all those texture lines that I put in there. I am keeping my pencil aligned the same way as all of the wood grain is going. I don't want to color up and down. I want to color in that same direction. Okay, I'm going to use some of the green now. So this is Celadon green. And again, I'm just going the same direction as the wood grain is. I haven't done it like this before. I thought this would be kind of an interesting way to do it though. Okay, let me get some of this green down here. And then last I'm going to use some of this putty beige, and this is like a grayish brown color. It's almost a French gray, but it's a little bit warmer even than the French grays. So I'm just kind of adding that a few places here and there. Okay, and then I'm using, nope, that's not what I want. I have my 10% warm gray, and that I'm going to go over the whole board with. And coloring over top of the colors that I put down and everything. All right, let's see how that looks. We can go back in and add in some more of those texture lines. Which one did I use for that? I think I used this 30, no, what did I use? We're gonna go with the 50 warm gray and just kind of darken up some of these lines. Because they do kind of get blended in there a little bit, and you want to just darken them up just a tad again. But again, you can be messy. You don't have to be exact. You can add in a little bit of those jagged lines if you want. You can add in, darker knots. So if you want, you know, to add in a knot here that you hadn't had in previously, you can add that in. I think I want to try to add in a little bit more of this Celadon because it didn't really show up a whole lot, and I like that tone in there. That blue is nice. That one really does stand out, but I wanted more of that Celadon in there. And I do need to add in the shadow around this side. So that was the 70, this is the 50, and then I'll use my 20. Blend that out even more. Okay, so there's the floor. It was pretty quick. I thought it would take longer. But I like it. I think it's going to be a cool floor to, you know, build the rest of this kitchen off of. I probably am going to do like a warm tone for the butcher block. And then, you know, I don't know, probably some kind of painted wood for the shelving and the cabinet here. But yeah, the butcher block would be the only other thing that I would do with wood. But this is basically it's the same technique, whether you're using it on a floor, on a background, depending on, you know, you just start with how thick you want your planks. If it's on a big page like it was on that Flora, let me pull that up again. I had pretty thick planks going vertically. You could also have thick planks going horizontally. That would have been cool as well. But yeah, you can see the same kind of technique where I have the darker lines in the center, shaded out from that. Then I have, you know, lots of texture lines. Here's those little dots that I had done previously. Several of these lines through here are very jagged and yeah. But yeah, I like the way that looks, and I think that's gonna be fun to do the rest of this kitchen in that. So we talked about how to do your own wood pattern. So there is that one with the wood floor. We did a little bit of this tree and the colored wooden gate down there, and then kind of some fun different technique with the distress inks and some pencils to get a nice fun wood green on there. But again, like I said, for Kirby's, you don't really have to do a whole lot for the wood grain. You just put the color on there. But yeah, that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope that that helped. And yeah, remember, I mean, you can use Prismas like you see here. I was able to use Prismas. You do have to go back in and add in your texture lines as you blend things together. If you're using the harder wooden pencils, so things like the Shuttle Arts, Black Widows would probably be good. Pro Colors would be good. What's another hard one? Oh, Polychromos would be good. All of those kind of pencils would be really good because they hold a sharp point. So you can do a lot of this flicking motion and get your lines of texture in there. So yeah, that's it. I hope that was helpful. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.